Hello everyone, this will be the review of game Final Match, and the key was provided by developer. Sadly, the game has no way to switch off music and sound, so you will have to bear with what's in the game. Luckily, it's not very annoying and not very loud, so it should be quite okay. Okay, so we are in the game now. This is basically a card game very similar to Hearthstone, but it's in alpha, I guess, so it's not very finished yet. Let's check the options. We have an option to put the game into windowed mode with some resolution changes, and I put graphics on ultra. I don't know what it does, but I did it. The problem is you cannot replay tutorial, and in tutorial you will most likely get stuck on the last boss, because the 4th level of tutorial is actually a boss fight, and it's quite hard with the basic deck that you have. This is a typical card game when you build decks and attack the same way as in Hearthstone, but I'm gonna show it to you in case you don't know how those games work. I'm gonna show you 2 fights, I guess. So we'll be moving there. The game has a couple of elements that are quite strange. It definitely has microtransactions. No, it doesn't have microtransactions. It has unlocks, but you can't buy it. You have to grind. It's grindy and it has 2 currencies. One currency is to unlock cards. The other currency is to unlock abilities. And apparently you can get profile images somehow. I don't know how. Leveling might be giving you something, but the game doesn't explain what it does. I'm level 5 now. I think you can unlock cards some way. I'm not exactly sure how it's all connected, because you don't have packs with cards. You can definitely unlock cards here and then add them to your deck, but at the same time you also get an information that something was unlocked. I'm not sure if this is connected with beating levels or if it's connected with leveling. Overall, you can eventually unlock more cards. I think now we have 2 types of decks. This is the Vega deck and the Dark deck. So it's kind of like assassins and knights. Pretty much that this can be said about it. And we have basic decks. I know that, yeah, that's the problem. The deck doesn't remember that I changed it. So this is the basic deck. It lacks 2 cards. I was already adding knight too. Now it's saved, but when you go out of the game it forgets about it. I don't know why. The decks forget that you changed them. Same here. I'm adding cards to the dark deck right now, and it should now stay. But if we go out of the game, this will disappear. So this is to be fixed. There is definitely some bugs in the game. As long as I remember, I'm gonna tell you about one more bug. Maybe like I'm just switching the knight. Let me switch knight to the better knight. Okay. I hope this is gonna... Oh, this is strange. I might be adding those cards. Ah, whatever. I won't have this many mana points, so probably makes no sense. There is one card I think is bugged. I'm gonna tell you about it because it's kinda concerning me. This one. Demon Warrior. It says end of turn deals 1 damage to all cards, and it has 6 life. For some reason this card was dying very quickly, like in 1 round. So it's probably wrongly described. I guess it does 1 damage per card that's on the map or something like that. Seems like bugged, and this means that there might be bugs in the game, but I'm just not that good in those games to see it, to clearly see if there are bugs, because generally speaking the game seems to work quite well in the combat. So I'm just saying that this is like probably some bug here with this card. Might be more bugs, hard to say. Okay, so that would be it for the cards. Now we have abilities which can be used. Again, it's strangely explained because we can upgrade them, and I don't know what the upgrade does. I upgraded all 3 powers, and they are behaving the same way. I have no idea what upgrading does. You can also change it to something else. Also, you have to unlock them with one of the currencies. But even though I upgraded them, I don't know what it did. Seriously, no idea. At the same time, I have cards of knight, not ability of knight, but cards of knight that I added to the deck. This is an ability, this is something else. It's upgraded by 1 point, level 2, not level 1. It is behaving exactly the same way, so I don't know what it does really. Maybe the number of them, hard to say. Profile images, it's not that important. Cards, yeah, you need to unlock them. Of course, I don't have enough currency. There is a problem with grinding, because you can't grind tutorial, especially first level, because it's finished. So now you could play online, but there is nobody online. I even added an information on the game forum that I'm now testing the game. If someone wants to play online, you would have to ask me personally on Steam, because there's probably nobody playing yet. And we are left with campaign, right? Tutorial is finished, we are left with campaign. So all we can do is play either dark, because Elite is soon, so not yet done. Abilities, can we switch them? No, but this is the same probably, so we have all three. So I could play dark, but that's a boss fight and I can't do it. Probably my deck is too bad. So Vega is the only place where you can replay level, and the level 2 is already harder than level 1. So now I'm stuck to level 1 where I can grind. It's the only place where I can grind, and before you unlock campaign, you are stuck in one of the tutorial levels until you finish it, right? I was stuck in the 4th level on the boss, and I was getting very little currency, which was a problem because I was unable to change anything. I couldn't unlock any cards because I was very slowly progressing, and I was stuck on the boss. I will give you a hint how I did it. I actually stole one of the enemy minions, and this allowed me to win. I was using the card, where is it? It's the dark deck. I used the card called, it's in the dark, let me find it, some snake, yes, this one, snake. It steals a minion, so this is how I progressed. I'm telling you because you might have problem progressing past tutorial. I did play Hearthstone quite a lot, and a couple of other games like Magic the Gathering, one of the versions, and other games like Forgotten Lore, and not too many of them. But because I played Hearthstone, this is pretty much the same idea, exactly same idea for gameplay. So I have some, well, experience with those games. Okay, so I'm gonna play one game here on the easy, theoretically easy combat. This is the easiest combat that I can show you. We have a chance of winning it. And the other one is the boss fight. So I'm gonna show you also the boss fight. Okay, so we are going to the first combat. I'm going to show you, just to show you the gameplay. Alright, this is how it looks. Sadly, you cannot switch off music, right? You have settings, but those are the same settings, so you have to bear with the sounds, especially the music. But not very loud, so not so bad. I'm playing a Knight deck, right? So the general idea of the game, you have to deal damage to the enemy, to the 42 health bar that he has. And we do it by playing cards, either playing abilities that we have only 4 of them, or we can play actual cards from our hand. Numbers here are, this is number of mana that we get, well, we have now, and we are getting like every round we get one more. So this is 1, then 2, then 3, and so on. This is our HP. This is number of cards that we have. Those are on hand. So overall we have 50 cards. And this is probably the number of rounds, I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm gonna finish because I cannot play anything with 1. I could play 3 Knight, but he would just get killed. Now he's going to destroy us. Basically the game is very, very hard, very imbalanced at this point. Because this is like the easiest fight I can have, and I have nothing. I have nothing to fight the guy with. He attacked me already with like 5 minions, and I have nothing. Right, so I can play, I guess, this guy and hope to kill at least one of them. And now he's going to absolutely destroy my minion. We'll probably lose. Then I will play probably with the other deck, and then I'm gonna show you the boss fight. So we'll probably have 3 duels, because those are pretty much duels with bots. That's the only way to progress through the game now, because you cannot play tutorial, you cannot really get online with anyone because nobody's playing. So this is the only way to progress. I'm not seeing their HP. Now I do. Okay, that's 2, that's 2. Okay, I can't kill anybody. I can just wound one of them. Maybe I could use assassin and attack basically the enemy. But because the enemy is throwing so many cards at us, I'm not sure how it's done. I'm pretty sure they just have better decks, and that's makes the game very hard. You would have to have very well done deck, unlock a lot of cards, probably upgrade them, and then maybe you would win. I managed to win a couple of times. It was very hard. Okay, so we can take one card from, what is it? One card from opponent cards. What cards? Those cards on hand or generally? Let's see what happens. Which card? I don't know. I don't know what I took. I took something, I guess. Alright, let's just finish because I can do anything. He's already destroying me. He's doing 10. Oh, we're dead. This is 15 damage. Okay, so the AI is good because if they can go for the kill, they do go for the kill. So AI is pretty good. And see, this is the stuff you get for grinding when you're losing. Very little currency, some experience that does God knows what. It's not explained what the level gives. So, well, if I click level, I don't even see it. No bar, no reward per level. I have no idea what it gives me. I could grind this way and slowly unlock cards, or I can try to switch deck here, I guess. Yeah, I could go. How do you do it? Cancel? Yeah, I could make probably new deck, right, and try to add cards there and make my own deck or work on those one too. Yeah, again, see, it's lost. Again, it's lost the thing that I saved. Maybe now it's saved. Let's see if the dark one can be saved. Can I add other cards? I can. That's very strange. I can add other cards to it. Let's see if I can do it. Maybe I can mix them. Hard to say. Let's see if I can mix them. Okay, I saved it. And we're gonna play with the dark deck. I'm not sure if this is gonna have the cards or it's broken. So, once more the same fight. I'm gonna try to do with the other deck. I'm not sure how you switch the deck. You don't. Yeah, I have to go out of this because I wanted to switch cards to other cards. Let me go back. No. God damn it. Okay, I closed the game. Also, the game gets closed when you click the button in the menu. That doesn't say it's the end of the game. It doesn't say quit or anything. It's this button, the cross. The cross actually closes the game. Very strange. I don't know why it's the cross, not any icon that would look like it's gonna close the game. Okay, I guess now you don't hear the game because I'm checking OBS. Right, so I'm gonna try to what do I have to do? I have to again see again it forgets our cards. I'm gonna just take. Let me do it once again because I'm forgetting what I should click. Alright, so I'm gonna add those night cards. I'm gonna add all the dark cards as well. Save it. Now I want to play with this specific deck. Maybe the button is right. Okay, so how do I switch? How do I switch my cards? Oh, I switch them here. Now we go for dark, and I'm not sure if this is always going to default or do we have the cards now that I chose. Hopefully I will have the better cards that I changed, but it definitely doesn't remember that we are changing cards, so that's a problem. And so for now we have only two sets of cards, the knight ones and the assassin ones. That's not too much content really. The amount of levels, there is a couple of them. There is the campaign, probably two campaigns, one with dark, with the first fight is the boss, so it's very hard, and we have 25 levels of this, also quite hard because my deck is really bad. Okay, so I'm gonna play with the dark deck now. Of course we can't do anything. Yeah, those are the new cards. Those are the new cards, so at least now it remembers that we changed the cards. What can I do? I can actually play this guy, but I don't know if I want to. Maybe we won't. I'm not sure what is the amount of cards that we can have on hand. The game doesn't explain it as well. Let's see how many cards will appear. We can have 6. We can play this actually in attack. He's gonna get killed, but it's a free card, so we can always play it. Why not? Of course, there's tons of strategies how to play, how to do combos, how to change your deck. So this is entire area of expertise I'm not very good at. I did a couple of decks in Hearthstone, but I was also using a lot of decks from the internet, so I'm not a very big well, expert on that. Right, so this does 10 damage. This is better than the previous one. And now they are going to destroy us with all the cards. Again, he's playing those assassins that do 5 damage. We are completely killed now. He did the same thing as last time. It was even worse than the last time I tried. I could play this female, or whatever it is. Yeah, it does nothing. We're dead. Basically, we can kill one guy. That's it. That's the grinding that we have to do. You just die very quickly, get a little bit of currency, and then you try again. Probably I'm going to show you the boss fight, because there is no point of just keep trying on the on the video, because this is gonna just keep going until I'm luckier with the enemy hand probably. If he spawns this many minions, I can't do anything at all. There is one card that can do like 2 damage to everybody, but if he has cards with 4 life, this wouldn't even kill them. I don't know why he's sending more minions than I can. Maybe I'm just unlucky with the card drawing. Maybe I have bad deck, hard to say. But the game is generally much harder than any other game of this type that I played. This is probably a collectible card game. Not exactly card game, because there are card games that are well, different. They look differently. Okay, so let's do the fight with the boss. It's gonna be worse, but it doesn't matter. Probably have the same deck, hopefully. And I was completely destroyed by this guy. He has more HP. Not sure what means that he's a boss. We see the health bar, but aside from that, it's just the same game. Okay, I could attack with Bandit, I guess. Just 1 damage. He's gonna, of course, get killed, but doesn't matter. He's, of course, yeah, sending minion and killing my card. It's the usual situation. Yeah, of course, he plays the ability because he also uses abilities. But he also played another one, so this is probably from hand. We don't see the hand of the boss. No idea why. It should be there. In Hearthstone, when you fight boss, you always see the hand. You always see what cards they have. I mean, how many? Not what cards, but how many. It should be also some, yeah, it should be shown how many cards you can have in hand, because might be 7, might be more, I don't know, it's not explained. Not very well explained. What can I do? I can do the ghost, he'll do 1 damage to the enemy, and we can kill 1 guy. This is probably a good change. We kill 1, and then they have to kill again, they have to attack to do another. So we are trading 1 card for 2, kinda. Of course, yeah, see, we killed 1 and then they killed themselves on our card, so that was a good deal. Still, he's winning, right? He has 3 cards up, we have nothing, and we can do anything about it. This is just damage to us. We could steal 1 card, probably that's a bad move. Maybe not. I can sacrifice this guy. Now we're winning with minions. We have more minions. I would also very much like a button that would attack the enemy with all cards, because otherwise you have to always keep moving those cards, doing this dragging move, and very often you will attack just him. At least if there are no minions, you just can attack him. If you have 6 cards, it would speed up the game. It would be useful to have a button like full scale attack on just on the body of the enemy, right? Not his minions. Okay, so he played 2 cards. We're almost dead. And if he just plays cards that do 7 damage and they attack same round, we are dead. He can do the same next round probably. Right, I'm gonna play Bandit and kill his cards because we have to. And now I'm going to attack with this card, with this one as well. There is an information that every boss has a weak spot. I don't know what they mean by that. Previous time I was able to steal 1 of his minions, but that's all I could do. I could do the same, but if he plays another one, he does, right? He just plays another one with that. So I'm not sure what are the boss weak points. So that's the boss fight, right? That's the difference. You see the health bar, you don't see the hand. Aside from that, it's pretty much the same combat. Maybe he has specific cards, it's hard to say, but it's quite similar. And of course we are very weak. Maybe 1 more with the same deck against the easiest enemy. Maybe we play the second one, just for the sake of it. I'm also recording it because 1 guy was asking on the game forum about the gameplay, so I'm just making it a little bit longer just in case he wants to watch, so that I'm saying hello to the person. Sorry, I forgot the name, but I'm also recording it so you can see the gameplay. Right, this is gonna be what? I can sacrifice him on the minion, or I can just attack. You know what? I can just attack. Let's see if something comes out of it. Overall, you have best chance to win in the first level because the enemy has less HP, and of course the boss fight is very hard. You almost certainly die and lose. Not sure if you can replay the boss fight. Maybe you can, but you need to have a deck that can kill him. And there is no way to replay tutorial. There should be a way to replay tutorial. And the game needs work. It needs to be much bigger because it's actually a game that costs money, and definitely there is free Hearthstone to play. The games in this genre, they take very different business models. Some of them are free to play, some of them have microtransactions, some of them even have items on Steam, and some are just paid. They just pay to play, right? One game has a free mode, but you have to pay for campaign, so it's very strange. What I would like to see is a mixture of well, the perfect game, I think, would be Hearthstone with different modes. So basically the same game, just like this one, because this is very similar to Hearthstone. But I'm talking about Hearthstone in terms of the amount of content, with the ability to sell all the cards on Steam, which has, for instance, Forgotten Lore. But it would need to have the size and content of Hearthstone. At the same time, well, I am not against microtransactions. They could be there, but it would be nice if you could get everything just by playing, just by grinding. And if you don't have time but you have too much money, then you can of course buy packs. In this case, the business model is that you pay for the game and then you unlock everything. You don't use any microtransactions. At the same time, you cannot trade any cards on Steam because you know, you cannot use any items. You don't get any items. So why I'm talking about Steam Market? Because in real life, the collectible card games are a product. You can sell a card, especially rare cards, and they reach very high values. So it was already done on Steam with at least one game, the Forgotten Lore game. So I think this is a good way to go. I would really like to see Hearthstone on Steam to be able to trade on the market with the cards. And then of course the game can be free to play because it will get the revenue from all the trade that goes between players. The problem with this game is that it has competition. You can just play a free game even on Steam, which does the same. You can also buy another game which probably will have a lot of content, probably more than this one. So some paid games have better amount of content. And this one is not very expensive, but the problem is that there is quite a lot of free games. So now it depends what you want. Do you want a time killer? So that in that case you would probably have to play Hearthstone because it's a very long game if you want to get all the cards just by grinding. Do you want to pay for some whatever reason? I don't know why you would like to pay, maybe because you like the graphic style or something, and just play alone. You just grind alone, but you won't be able to trade cards, to sell them without the way to use microtransactions. Or maybe you do want microtransactions, in which case you would have to buy a game that has card packs. It's very strange that those games take different. Maybe I'll go to OBS, so it will be hopefully without the music. So the games take very different approach to how much they offer and how much they cost. The cost can go very high up if they have microtransactions. At the same time, this game is cheaper, but of course it's way more expensive than a free game, infinitely more expensive than a free game. A free game that has some cards behind the paywall can be again more expensive because you have to buy some stuff to even have it. So it's very strange to talk about it because pretty much any of those games has different approach. I would like to see an amalgamation of all of them, like something like Forgotten Lore, which has a working Steam market for the cards, but the game is quite bad actually. It's quite budget and doesn't have too much in terms of content. It's theoretically it has a workshop, so you could have more cards, but it's kind of abandonware. There's almost nobody playing it. And of course, Hearthstone would be awesome if it went to Steam, but it doesn't. So now you have a choice of all those games that go from well, the best ones are free and they have a lot of content, and the middle ground is games that are either free but they have less content, or they cost not much, like this one. And then we have games that cost a lot of money and not necessarily have a lot of content. So the game has to compete with other games in the genre, and there is tons of them. There's actually quite a lot of games. I'm not going to tell you how many because it's hard to filter them on Steam, because when you enter card games, it's gonna even show you games like Hand of Fate, which is a card game, but it's not a collectible card game. You would need to go into very precise subgenre to compare them. So what can I say about Final Match in the end? I would give it, hard to say. It's unfinished. It has, well, at least one bug with the card. It doesn't have regulation of sound, and it's quite imbalanced, but at the same time it's hard, so some people might like it. It's actually harder than other games because the enemy has good AI, and they're much stronger than the typical basic deck that you might have. So you might be struggling against bosses, you might be struggling to progress, which some people might like. They might like the grind, they might like to switch decks to even win, because with basic one you can't really do it. There's definitely a problem with the game not remembering that you change the deck, that you change the cards. It's also very unclear in terms what is unlocking. Like I had the same message twice that I unlocked Knight 2 cards. It was like twice when I leveled. So I leveled to level 4, I got the message. I leveled to level 5, got the same message. Also, I have no idea why there is two currencies. Okay, I'm going back. So there is two currencies for no reason. There is no microtransactions. Still two currencies for some reason. I don't know why. Usually one is the currency that is exclusively paid. In this game it isn't. So we just have two currencies for some reason that is unknown to me. I don't know how it works with the upgrades of abilities. It's not explained. I upgraded them and it apparently did nothing. Maybe I just have more of them. But I don't know, I still have 4 of them to use and they do exactly the same thing, so I don't know how it works. So how much the game offers? It has 4 tutorial levels. It has online that doesn't work because nobody is playing it. It has campaign with 25 levels and another campaign with unknown number of levels. Probably there is another campaign going when there is more stuff added to the game, probably more decks. Well, one more deck, I guess, with the Elite faction, if there ever comes another faction. Right now we have 2 factions with some number of cards. Hard to say how many. You would have to unlock pretty much everything and maybe even level up. Also, the game doesn't tell you what happens when you level up, so it's hard to say. Maybe leveling upgrades all the cards to 3rd tier. Maybe you have to buy them. It's hard to say, but generally speaking, you can upgrade some cards and you can unlock some cards, and then you can make this deck of 50 cards or less and then play with it in the campaign or online. So I must say I kind of like this game, even though it's unfinished. It's definitely underbaked and it needs a lot of work, but I would give it 6 out of 10 because it's slightly higher than what I played before when it comes to budget card games. I played some really bad ones, and of course this is not Hearthstone. Hearthstone is just free stuff with tons and tons of cards, and it has very nice graphics, so it's definitely a competition. But if you're bored with Hearthstone like I was, and you really like those games, you could try it. But of course it's paid, so you have to make a decision. Do you want to pay for a card game, for a card collectible game, if you have so many free ones to play? But if so, it's not very expensive. Also, it's unfinished, so it's hard to say how far it goes. If it gets completely finished, if everything is added and more stuff is added, it might grow to something better. The graphic style is quite nice. I like it. Maybe it would be nice to have some way to look at your cards in big zoom to just appreciate all the details, especially if there are any cards that are better, like foil ones or gold ones or anything unique. I don't know if there are, but there might be. Hard to say. Probably some people collect those cards just for the art style, or maybe just for the fact of having all the cards. So it would be nice if you could watch them. Like now you can do what? You can do this, right? It's quite big, but it would be nice if you could just turn it around, maybe have the back side of the card with different layout, or maybe unlock it by some events. And it could be bigger because the picture itself is quite small. Maybe, I don't know, I would like to maybe zoom it or turn it around just for the sake of it. It would be nice if the cards had also different background, different layout, just to appreciate the graphics if you're into it, because, well, that's part of the game, is just the graphics style on the cards. I guess that's what people want from those games. There's some reason why they collect those cards even in real life. It would be nice to add an option to trade cards between players, but right now I don't think it's possible, because you just unlock all the cards, everybody would have the same cards, and there are no card packs. So it's quite different than other games. You can't really trade anything or look for uniques or anything like it. The currency just serves the purpose of unlocking all content. So the content is behind the grind. Once you grind enough, you will unlock all the cards, you unlock all the possible decks that you might build with them. But you would only have 2 factions and only a limited number of cards, which is, well, always limited. But some games have, for instance, Gems of War, which is kinda a card game, also a match 3 game. It has like 600 of cards or so. So definitely the game has very high competition, but I would recommend it if you are into it. I would recommend it if you are playing a lot of those games and you are bored with the ones that you have. If you already played Hearthstone and all the free ones and you want to start collecting more card games just for the sake of playing them because you are a fan of the genre, this is one of the cheaper ones, I guess. This is last time I checked, it was like $3.50 or something. So it's not a very expensive one. It has quite nice AI. It's hard. It's really hard, definitely. The problem with difficulty is also that I'm not sure if Hearthstone was hard, because I had way more cards to choose from. I just played it a lot and I could build a lot of decks. Here I would have to grind to get them, right? Which I did the same in Hearthstone, but I think it was faster. Here pretty much any card is behind the very long grind, because the combat is harder. The enemies are harder, and if you lose you just get very little currency. So you would need to play it for hours just to unlock the cards. So it seems harder definitely for a beginner player. Hearthstone, you could just, I guess, grind like 3 or 5 or 10 packs of cards, and then you might get something useful, or you might just maybe build better decks with the basic cards. Maybe you had also, well, you definitely had more choice. You could play with basic decks of like 7 or 9 factions. Here you have only 2, so there's a little choice, only knights or the assassins, and that's it. So the game is definitely hard, but there might be a plus. So I could recommend it to fans of the genre. I give it a positive review, 6 out of 10. This is more than average, even though the game is in production and definitely needs a lot of fixes, changes. It needs more content, clearly. It needs sound regulation, it needs fixing of bugs, and probably more explanation how stuff is unlocked, how stuff works. Because right now I don't know how abilities are upgraded, how you unlock all the cards. Is it just you buy them or you have to level? It needs fixing of the decks. Definitely decks need to be saved properly, not forget what you changed, because that's just ridiculous. It needs a lot of help, a lot of bug fixing, a lot of testing, and constant work. And as a final product, it might grow into a pretty good game. Would be a nice idea maybe to buy it now if it keeps growing, because if the price goes up, that maybe you wanna buy it now, or buy it on in the nearest sale, and then just hope that the developer will actually finish the game completely and listen to everybody who has some feedback to offer. So I'm well, what can I say? Just if you see any things to be fixed, you should just write on the forums and help the developer, because definitely the game wasn't beta tested enough. Someone said that there is no information on YouTube, or there is no gameplay out there, so I'm gonna give my gameplay. If someone wants to play online, you can try. You can ask me on Steam and add me so we can test it. Maybe I'm gonna leave the game for a few days on my hard disk for now, and maybe I will replay it when it's completely finished. Hard to say. I think it has potential. I think it might grow into a bigger game if it has like 4 or 5 factions, much more campaigns, maybe some community online, and well, it definitely needs trading cards, and even better if it had some way of grinding, farming cards and exchanging them via Steam Market. That would definitely add to the game. Right now it's a single player grindy experience, but for a game of this type, for a game that is kinda like, well, I can only compare it to Hearthstone because I don't really know any other game that's popular. I know about Magic the Gathering, but it's a bit different. So probably the closest game is Hearthstone. It's pretty good. It's pretty challenging, and yeah, you will have to do a lot of trial and error with decks to even progress. So this is gonna give you some playing time for sure. And if you want to play it as a time sink, just to grind it for the sake of it, also it's gonna give you a lot of time. The only problem is that it has a competition with free games. Alright guys, so that will be it. I think I told you about everything I wanted to say. It was a bit longer, but I wanted to give you more gameplay just in case you wanna see how the game even works, or how the games of this type work. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment. That will be it for the final match, and I will see you guys in the next review.